bringing up the nutrition aspect of dance, like, I know it can be bad. Like, what were some things? So you've got a few stories that are pretty rough about, like, you talked about the marker and so that one time. Like, what were some things that you saw from the nutrition aspect? Well, answer me this. This is a big question, I guess. What are some things you saw from the nutrition aspect that stick out in your head? Also from the strength and conditioning aspect. And if you could go back and change things, what could you change from the nutrition, strength and conditioning side of things that you think would be impactful for all dancers?
Yeah. So nutritionally, obviously there were girls that either just did not eat, never saw them eat, or there were girls who, would eat and binge. That's very common. For me, it was just, and I'm sure a lot of others, it was a complete lack of knowledge about nutrition at all. Yeah. So I was the one who would go into the cafeteria and eat 3 green beans and some a slice of grilled chicken, because I just thought that was okay, I have to be skinny. Yeah. I don't have an eating disorder because I'm still eating, but it's just it's purely about being skinny, looking skinny. It's such a physically demanding activity. And
you're dancing for a long time, so you're man, you're running off nothing.
Yeah. And so I think that would be a huge thing if girls could just understand what nutrition is and how, what it does for you.
Whose job do you think that is? Do you think that's the dance studio's instructor job, or who do you think, just to give basic stuff, hey girls, make sure you're doing X, Y, Z?
Well, frankly, I think it starts at home. Oh, my mom doesn't know anything about nutrition.
100%.
So she can't teach me anything about nutrition. I just think that's kind of if you decide you want to have kids, then you should also educate yourself on how to make them healthy and but yeah, I definitely think the teachers and instructors should have done a better job of being hey, this is not healthy, this is not sustainable, it's not worth it in the long run. And then strength and conditioning wise, it's crazy now looking back after lifting and being strong, looking back, how much faster I would have been able to turn, or how much higher I would have been able to leap, or on color guard, how much higher I could have thrown my flag with such ease. Yeah, I wish people could, if I could go back, I would have started weightlifting a lot earlier.
Yeah, that's interesting. I want to ask this too. So as a dancer in a color guard, your spatial awareness has to be through the roof. You got to know where you are at all times. You got to know where your flag is at all times.
Yes.
I remember when I was one year, my junior year, going into my sophomore year, going into my junior year, playing high school basketball and played football too. I didn't play football my senior year. So in football, we did a ton of speed and agility stuff all the time. That's what it was. I remember my junior year, my body control felt so much better. I felt things were snappier. I was quicker. My senior year, I had just grown up a little bit. So I was stronger. I could jump higher, but my movements weren't as crisp, I feel like, because I didn't play football my senior year. What did you notice, from a dance perspective and going into CrossFit, going into some of these other, did you notice a body difference there at all? You may not have. I'm just curious. I guess in your spatial awareness or some of that.
No, not necessarily. I think I'm still extremely spatial aware, spatially aware. I guess the thing that I noticed the most, which maybe is not quite what you're talking about, but I was so flexible from dancing for so long that when I started CrossFit, I was oh, I don't need to stretch. I don't need to do mobility. I'm too mobile. And now I can't touch my toes. It's crazy how quickly that changed. So that's definitely something, I wish that I would have continued to do mobility every single day.
The body adapts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the biggest change I noticed. But
man, could you tell that story about the marker? That sticks out in my head.
Yeah, I won't say where it was, but I was on a team where we were practicing whenever it was only the girls and we had closed rehearsal, we were allowed to take our shirts off and practice in shorts and sports bras. And we were running a drill and our instructor was chasing girls with a Sharpie, and she would draw a circle on their stomach and be this jiggles when you run. which like, hello, skin moves, skin jiggles.
My goodness.
Well, when you're a teenage girl, you're like, oh my gosh, I'm disgusting.
Oh my goodness.
I'm jiggly.
I bet people just went and threw up.
Oh yeah.
Oh my goodness, that is miserable.
Yeah.
That
stuff actually happens.
man, that sticks out in my head from when you told me that. It's just like, wow. 'Cause, I mean, my sister was a dancer, and I mean, just seeing her. I mean, she stopped dancing when she was 12 or 13, and just seeing that age group of girls, like man, like they were already very aware of any inefficiency they had in their body.
Yeah.
And you could just tell when you would take them out, like you'd go eat at a Mexican restaurant, and like they'd order this big plate of food, and it would just be pushed around and not touched.
No one touched it.
Yeah, it's brutal.
Yeah.